Perfect. I think we've got everyone. So I'd like to welcome everyone to our webinar today. My name is Stuart Blumenthal. I'm with ETHOSystems, and today we're going to be going over the 2023 R4 changes that are being released. There are a lot of things that are being added to the product. I'm going to be focusing on today on things that are specific around the construction world and some of the things that apply specifically to our clients. There are additional changes that I'm not going to go into detail on today, such as some of the interface changes and things like that. They'll be very apparent when you get into them. But I'm going to be focusing on a lot of the feature sets around the construction and around some of the specific areas around the system that do hit construction and people have asked for over the years. Many of these topics or many of these things that have been added are based upon public feedback. So it's important for you guys, if you ever don't go, if you don't have a login to community, make sure you do have a login to Intacct community, and there's an area that you can add ideas, and there's an area that you can vote for ideas. Always feel free to go in there, add ideas. If you think it's a really great idea, let us know. We'll have a voting party on our side. I always want to make sure that your information gets promoted as best we can within Sage. So the presentation's 30 minutes long. Phone lines are all muted. If anyone has any questions, please use the questions feature. And if you want to copy the PowerPoint, just put your email address in there and I will send that off at the very end by the end of today. Real quick plug, next month we're having our Intacct year-end webinar. It's going to be on December 12th at 11 a.m. Central Time. We're going to go over 1099 processing and just making sure you know how to close out the modules. But we'll talk about 1099 processing, especially around Tax Bandits, which is the add-on module that Sage uses, or the integrated module that Sage uses for 1099 processing. So the agenda, you'll see it here. The most important thing is this release goes into effect November 10th in the evening. So it's right around, don't hold me to the exact time, but it's right around 8 p.m. Pacific time. So those are in the Central and Eastern time zones. It's obviously a bit longer. You get in the system, but it's a Friday night. Hopefully you're not doing accounting work and you're getting into the system, you're spending time outside the system. By Saturday morning, it will be refreshed and you can get into there at that point. And then at the end, we'll have an Q&A. So a couple things is that, and I'm just going to go through each of the changes starting now. So under the company area, you can now go into the company area, and there's 3 important checkboxes. These will not be checked by default because these are new features. So Sage will never go in and check an option that's new to the system. That's a security that Sage endorses. But there's 3 new boxes: mask, the employee social security number, the vendor banking details, and the employee banking details. I highly recommend on Monday morning, take the weekend off, on Monday morning, turning these on. This is good for security aspects and preventing people accidentally getting people's bank account information or social security information. So please make sure that those are turned on at that point. The next thing that is going to be really important is that right off the main menu in the company area, there is going to be a new option that says API activity. Sage is monitoring a lot of the API calls, and the goal is that to see where you are at if you're using too many API calls, but also what API calls are failing. So for those who have integrations, this is going to be really, really important to making sure that the integrations are running optimally and also they're not airing out or having issues. So this is a new feature. When you launch it, you'll get like a little Power BI interface, and then you can then look for usage and filter for specific days or periods or companies or things like that for your integration. So highly recommend starting to look at that, especially for those who have integrations starting on Monday. The next area, so that was the company. The next area, next module is accounts payable. So one of the features they've added to the system in the last year was this something called AP automation. AP automation allows you to import, in bills for that are AP bills and will not go against purchase order bills. So for those in the construction world, we've been saying, hey, it's not ready for those commitments yet, things like that. But if you're just doing straight AP bills, it does have the ability to now monitor what your usage is per month. The module gives you X number of imports a month, so you can see how they're doing, and you can also make sure there's no errors, things like that. So it gives you the logging of that. Again, if you're interested in this, it's a great feature for AP bills for today. We're hoping in the next 6 months to have the feature available for purchase order invoices as well, which would then hit commitments. But it's a nice feature today in accounts payable. The other thing that they're adding in accounts payable is that when you go in and do your bill pay, they're adding a column under there, the preferred payment method. So therefore, when you go through it, you can see how people want to get paid at that point, or if you can filter it a little bit better. So again, if these are the people that you're going to pay by check, pay by EFT, or pay by card. So that feature will there'll just be a new column that's added right after the payment date, and you will see that on Monday. Another thing that they've added is that, and this is based upon a lot of people recommending it, is the ability to recall approvals now within accounts payable. So for example, if you wanted to make a change to it, to an invoice, you can now recall that approval, so it doesn't have to go through that approval process twice and annoy someone. So you can, when you're in the list, you'll see a recall aspect if it's gone through approval process, or again, when you bring up the bill, there will be a new button there called recall. Again, that is for the approval process at that point. I know a couple of people on this call have asked for delegations, like for example, if someone is not available, if they're on vacation, unfortunately that has not been added to this, but again, the recall feature has been. Last change in here, when you set up a vendor, you're going to see a new box. Just keep in mind so that if you're entering vendors in the future, you'll see a new box. This vendor is an individual person. This has been required for security purposes, and so it's now a required field. So just FYI, if you go into a vendor, maybe change them, you won't get that pop-up saying if you haven't filled this in, it will now require that information. Let's make sure there's no questions yet on accounts payable. In accounts receivable, this has been one of the most commonly asked features, is the ability to apply a payment to multiple customers. So this is a new feature where you can now split that out. So multiple customers' invoices. So you can now split that information out. That'll be a new drop-down field available to you when you're going through receiving payments. And make sure that you're using the new payment screen. I know some people are still using the old one for some reason, but make sure it's only in the new payment screen that you'll see this. Okay, construction aspects. So this first tab here, or the first change, is specifically for a lot of the companies that are in Canada using this. So up there, retainage is handled differently than it is down here in the States. So they have changed the way that handles the tax calculations for retainage. So you'll see two new boxes down here, or one under accounts payable, one under accounts payable, one under accounts receivable, and that will let you calculate tax on retainage release. So again, only for VAT and GST enabled transactions, this is going to be really important for those in Canada to make sure that is checked on at that point. For those in the United States, there's nothing you need to do. It will default to the way it was before. The next thing is another big change for and this is one that we've been really waiting for here. So now there is a new tab when you go and do an invoice, and I'm just going to show you the screen here. So you're used to seeing your transactions and then you have your posting details and your history and payment details. There is a new tab called Project Contract Billing Details. And what it's going to do here is that, first of all, it will show you everything about that up to that point on that invoice. So you can see all this information. These are a bunch of new fields they've added, and part of the reason they've added this is to help fix some of the AIA billing issues, some of the issues with the forms. So we've been really excited about this. Also, we love this new button up here, Update Billing Details. This goes out and just goes out and calculates any of these to make sure that they're all correct. So we've had some cases where we've had to go back to Sage and say, hey, this didn't print right, this amount is off, yada, yada, from specifically around like some of the retainage and releasing retainage. So this will go back through and recalculate this information. So therefore your AIA form is correct. Now, please keep in mind the AIA form that if you're using it now is going against the information under the transactions tab. So there's that information there. These are separate new fields. So your AIA form will have to be updated. It does not need to be updated day one. It does not need to be updated in the next 30 days. What Sage is going to start doing is that they're going to present the information on both the header tab as well as the billing details tab. And then what they're going to do is that they're going to hide the information on the header tab, but still keep it available so your forms and stuff will continue to work. But what we want to do is that after this upgrade, we do recommend, if you're using the AIA form, let us change yours over to the new fields here, and it will then be, you'll know that they're a lot more accurate and they're using the fields that they should be using in the long term. I would not recommend doing this first thing on Monday morning. Let's make sure everything's working fine, and then schedule an appointment with one of our consultants in the next couple of weeks. And also, I would say let us get the template created ourselves. So again, give it a couple of weeks before we move over to updating it using the new tab here. But we've been waiting for this, and it's really exciting what Sage put together regarding that. And then you'll see here, also these things are available through the ICRW as well. And that's for some of the reporting. This is going to be really helpful for some additional reporting as well. The other change they've made was that as time has gone on, the last release, they released the vendor compliance. And I know that we've had a few clients roll out vendor compliance. Doesn't take very long to set that up. So people have been using that for license information and for like W-9s and certificates and stuff like that, making sure that they have all the dates in the system. Now, this is vendor compliance, so keep this in mind. This is not going against the actual project. This is just hitting the vendor directly. But one of the things they needed to add to this with this release is the lien waivers. And so what you're going to have happen now is that, again, they're just starting this little by little with each release here. So under the compliance category, they used to just say insurance or miscellaneous. Now there's a last one called lien waiver. And what you'll be able to do is that this will generate for each AP bill, or you have an option there saying AP payment. And once you choose that, you can put in the minimum lien waiver amount and the primary document amount, the minimum primary document amount. So as you can see here, first create the compliance definitions, and then the lien waiver generation notification rules you define prevent you from paying a AP bill at that point. So this actually does put a hard stop on that aspect. So definitely recommend, if you haven't set up the vendor compliance, please do that. And you can start, I would recommend starting to do that even next week. Once the system is updated, you can start it today. Lien waiver would not be an option. Starting on Monday, lien waiver will be an option of one of the different record types. In addition to that, Sage is also added a few additional features around the system. So one of them that Sage has partnered with is released was earlier this year was something called Sage Field Operations. This is a great product for those who are going out in the field and need to do scheduling around their customers, need to do scheduling and service tickets and work tickets for repair type of work, specifically, for those companies that are maybe in the HVAC or going out and doing ticketing for repairs and stuff like that, or landscaping work, or bug spray work, things like that. So they've added a few new features with this release on the field operations side. One of them is the ability for flat rates. So we can now set that up. This was actually the request of one of our clients, and they made that change for them. So I'm really excited about that. And then the other option they've added in there is that you can now take payment in the field with Sage Field Operations. They've integrated with a product called Fortis, which is a credit card processor, and right from your handheld device now, you can take payment in the field. So again, helps those, if you're having someone do like a plumbing repair, they can go out there, charge my credit card, and then it will automatically update back into Sage Intacct at that point. If you have any questions on Sage Field Operations, please let us know. The other module that you're going to be seeing, or the other system or module you're going to be seeing, is Sage Construction Management. This is a product formerly known as CoreCon that Sage has brought on board. The interface, the first thing that they did is that they gave it an interface lift so to match the Sage Intacct look. And this is for those companies that want to use a product like a Procore, but Procore is a lot more robust. I mean, it's as they call it, the Mercedes or the Porsche out there. This is a great product for those companies that need true construction management, and this is extremely robust, and it's a great entry level product that integrates with Sage Intacct. And so you can, look at your different projects. You can look at all the different statuses going on. And again, it does work within the field as well through the mobile app, through an iPad, things like that. So it allows you to manage all your projects in one location. If you have any questions on Sage Construction Management, let us know. Happy to have our team do a demo of that. We haven't really done a lot with it yet in terms of trying to do marketing and stuff like that. It's just got released. We've been working with Sage on it, and we wanted to make sure that with this last launch in the last 30 days, we've been making sure that it's been really solid. The only thing that we've been really seeing with it is right now is some of the tax aspects with Canada on that. In the general ledger, they have made some other changes there as well. So one of the ones that I've been waiting for desperately is the ability to change the account numbers and the length of accounts. So if you came into someone else's system and you're like, man, I really don't like this 3-digit GL account number, or 4-digit, I need a 5-digit now, that can be changed, as well as you can also change the account number. So if it was all grouped up together and you want to now renumber your GL account numbers, you're able to do that. So again, new implementations probably are not going to use that often, but if you've inherited someone else's system or it's just been old and all the numbers are grouped together, this is a great way of cleaning this up now. So we're very excited about this. Please keep in mind that you have to go into configure the general ledger, and you have to, again, turn on this new option starting on Monday. So allow changes to the account numbers and length. You have to check that box. Oops. And then the second thing that you'll have to do then is go into general ledger permissions and then at the very bottom now, you'll see an option that says account numbers, and then the ability to edit that. So it's a 2-step process for invoking this. One is just turning it on altogether. Second of all is giving the rules either in the specific user, or if you're using role-based security, which you should be using, it should be underneath there. Last thing under the general ledger, they've added the ability to prevent postings into future. Before it was like, hey, warn you if you couldn't post in the future or not. That doesn't work for everyone. So now you can now set the maximum number of unlocked fiscal periods in the future there. So you have a drop down. So you can say how many months or years you're allowed to go out and prevent postings in the future. So this is something that I would turn on. I would go in on Monday morning, go to configure your general ledger, go under transactions, and you turn this on. Please note that again, it does say this is permanent. Consult a certified implementer. So if you do have any questions about this on Monday, please reach out to us on our tech support, and we can definitely go through that with you. And then the last change that they have made that we're excited about with this release here is that before, when you store your financial reports, and for those who don't store your financial reports, what it's great doing is you can take a snapshot, store it within the Sage database of the report as of a specific date, for example. Before, when you did that, you didn't have the ability to drill down. Now you have the ability to drill down the transactions for details, just like you were if you were running it currently. So this is kind of cool, so that now you can kind of go back and see what made up that number, and you have visibility at that point instead of going in and say, okay, when was this transaction created at that point? So I would definitely recommend using the stored reports feature. If you need help learning how to use that, please let us know. You guys are a very quiet group here. So at this point here, I'm going to see if there's any questions that have come in from the group. If you guys have any questions about what's coming out, any of these features, let me know. The calendar for the R4 release, the calendar for the next year's releases. So again, there'll be 4 releases next year. Just same. It's always the second Friday of the second month of a quarter. So the next release will be in February, then May, and August, and then obviously November of next year. Last 2 things to mention, and then there was one question came in. Last couple of things to mention. We at ETHOSystems will be looking at doing a end user conference. We are still trying to figure out the date and the venue times and location, but we're looking at March or April timeframe. We'll be doing one of these where it will be in person. You can bring your laptop. Our consultants are there, and then we will have breakout classes throughout the day. So you could be taking classes on smart events, you could be taking classes on report writing, and it'll all be taught, and you'll be around people that are using the construction module or real estate module. So you can get great ideas from everyone else. Also, Sage is having their annual conference at the end of February. It is in Las Vegas. It is a 2.5-day event for the customers. There's a lot of different sessions. There will be a few sessions on construction, but a lot of them are just general Sage Intacct learning sessions. So again, that's a great opportunity to learn. If you guys go, please let us know. We'll be there as well, and we're going to be we'll be hosting an event for our customers that do go to transform. Question that came in regarding the price of the construction management piece. That piece is an additional cost because it is additional module. It's based upon the number of employees, because a lot of it's based upon the time entry aspects there. So talk to your account manager, talk to me, or I'll get you in touch with sales, and we can get you a quote. But I would more importantly want to make sure, get a demo, make sure it meets your needs. But it is additional cost on that, and based upon the number of people that will be in the PM system. Great question there. With that, I said this is 30 minutes. I actually got it done in 25 because I probably talked too fast. If anyone has any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Otherwise, appreciate everyone's time today. Hope this was valuable. When you log in on Monday, again, you'll see a new interface, you'll see a new look and feel, some of the buttons are just round now and stuff like that, but everything will be rolled out Monday. If you do have any problems, please obviously contact us quickly as possible here at ETHOSystems. But obviously, it's been in testing and the upgrade will go very smoothly. Appreciate everyone's time today.